All right, let's talk about materials. So far, we've been showing some rendering options, but all of our objects that we have are just rendering with white. So I'm going to go back to my asset editor, and I'm going to click on this little arrow on the left over here. And when I do, this is going to open up all my materials, but I haven't downloaded them yet, so I'm going to click download. And depending on your connection, the downloads might be faster or slower. Unfortunately, every time you open up a virtual desktop, you're going to have to re-download your materials. But the good thing is, once you apply a material to your object, you save your Rhino file, and then you open it back up with VRay and Rhino. It'll remember the materials that you have, so you don't have to always reapply them. You will if you're using the virtual desktop, you will have to re-download them, but you won't have to reapply them. Once you download them the first time, it'll have additional materials that you just download, but if it does, you might have the option, or it might have ask you to download them again. But just continue to hit download until you're able to see this. And the very first one we're going to add, we're going to keep these materials a little bit simple. We're going to click on plastic. And I'm going to scroll down here to where I see one that says, keep going. There you go. Plastic simple shiny black, or plastic simple shiny gray. It doesn't matter, either one. And these materials are always here. You cannot edit or change these materials. I'm going to click on the light bulb symbol. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this plastic simple shiny black. I'm going to drag this into where it says the light bulb. So now I'm able to see this one material. And now what I can do is I can come back here into Rhino, select my object, come back here to this material, right click, and go to apply to selection. So hopefully if I go to my rendered view, it should show up as a black material. And when I click render, it's showing up as a black material. I changed my settings so that my save frame is portrait. I'm going to just change this. There you go. And just leave it like that. That's fine. So here I'm getting that either the black or the gray material, depending on which one you selected. I can come back here now and click on the materials, and it's showing up here. If I have that material selected and I click on this right arrow, this will show me the properties of that material. So these materials here that are listed here, you can't edit or delete these materials. These are just the default materials that are within Rhino. Once you take one of these materials and you drag it into this area, these are the materials that you can now begin to delete and edit. We can even start to change the name. So we might start off with, like in this case, the shiny black material or the shiny gray material, just to get the basic characteristics. But then once we drag it in here, this middle area, and we're able to see the actual the material properties, we're going to be able to change them. So the first thing we're going to do is change the color. So instead of it being a black material, we're going to change it to some other color. As soon as this pops up, there we go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is instead of it being a black color or a gray color, depending on which one you selected, under diffuse color, I'm going to click on here and I'll change it to like a red, for example. So now that this is red over here, if I look in my Rhino screen, I can now see that it's red. I can see that it's red because I am in the rendered mode. And if I click the render icon, it should now render in a red material. If I want to change the color again, I just go back to the diffused color. I can move this slider and say I want a shade of green. Again, I should be able to see that shade of green here because I'm in rendered mode, and when I click render, I should be able to see it change here. If I want to, right now it's pretty simple because I only have one material, but if I had multiple materials, the best way to keep track of this is to change the name. So if I know I'm going to keep this material, I'll go to rename. Instead of black, I'll do green. And it just helps me keep track of all the different materials. If I want to, I could also come over here to where it says opacity. I'm going to reduce the opacity down to, say, like 0.5. And I'm going to re-render this. So now, instead of it being completely solid, I can see that it has a little bit of transparency through it. So I can start to see through this. And here I can still see that it's still rendering, or I can just stop it if I wanted to. But whenever you add transparency, it will take a little bit longer.